I gotta tell you, I am very proud to be here today speaking to you at California Writers Club, Sacramento. I'm a proud member of California Writers Club for about 7 years. And in that 7 years, I really feel like I've become a better writer because of the people I've met and the things I've learned in this club. So for me to be here speaking to you is something that I am very proud of that accomplishment. And I don't say that to brag, but if each and every one of you aren't thinking along those lines when you're creating your work, like, I'm proud of myself for doing this. I'm proud of myself for all the things I did in my 35-year career as a lawyer. Man, I do this on a regular basis, and it motivates me to write. It motivates me to create. Motivates me to live in a time where that's exactly what I really need. Filmmaking. I am so confident that filmmaking is going to help me get a book deal. I'm writing a book, a memoir called Touched by Hannah. A man with cancer, his 1-pound newborn, and their fight for life. Hannah was due December 7th, 2009, a day in infamy for our family. She was born suddenly on September 1st, 2009, weighing just 1 pound and 9 ounces. Less than a month before that, I had radical prostatectomy cancer surgery at Stanford, which, believe me, was taking a bullet in the belly for that cancer. Almost died a couple years later. Spent a long journey. A couple years ago, we found that the cancer had metastasized to my lung. And anyways, I'll give you more about that awesome story later. So, I produced a film called Miracles on College Street, Daddy and Daughter Tread on Deathbeds. It's from Hannah in the NICU, and it's from me and my journey with cancer. There's some interviews and stuff, and I meant it to be a promotional video for my book. I'm very into promoting myself on social media to get known, and it's worked pretty well. Yeah, my film, Miracles on College Street, hold on a second. Miracles on College Street, Daddy and Daughter Tread on Deathbeds. That was just meant to be a promotion for my book, Touched by Hannah. Turns out that I turned that into an episode of my cable TV show, YOLO Yo-Yos. That episode, this past April 1st, was runner-up Best West Coast Wave Episode of the Year 2022 out of 57 cable TV stations that submitted videos. Round of applause for that. Man, let me tell you, that pumped me up, and my little baby, my angel, the person I love like nobody else on the planet, Hannah, was right at my side in Silicon Valley when we actually accepted the award, because I had another episode that was the winner. Wow. And that was an episode that I actually wrote the script, and we filmed it at the historic Woodland Opera House. So, in the Manhattan Film Festival this past June, Miracles on College Street took a Film Heals Award. That is for the most inspirational film in freaking Manhattan, New York City. 7 days there, and I had pizza for dinner 4 out of the 7 nights. Just don't tell my mom. Wow, that was great. Well, in any case, and then the film was also top 5 documentary. My point isn't bragging, but my point is, I think my book is book worthy for a book deal from a big publisher. I've read excerpts at open mics. I've incorporated into speeches I've given to big corporations and companies. I've written about it on my Facebook, and people are really touched by my story. I'm so confident that this is going to happen. What film is going to do, that's going to open the door. Because when an agent sees, award here, award there, they're going to look at my stuff and then they're going to look serious. So, any case, Yeah, 4 award-winning films this year. Houston Comedy Film Festival. Out of like 2,000 films, mine was top 5 comedy film. So I said to my wife, I said, honey, you know what this proves? She said, what? I'm funny. She said, honey, I know that. Really cool to be here today. How many have tried making a video and just didn't know how to proceed, didn't know where to go, didn't know how to start, and never started? Okay, see, they can't see you at home. Who here tried to make a video and the audio wasn't good, or the video was crappy and the video, sucked? Who here tried to make a video and said, forget about it? That's where I'm going to try to help you. The one thing that you can do to be more than just a paperback writer is just pay attention for the next several minutes. I bought a camera, my first video camera in 1986. I had a toddler and a baby and I wanted to document them, and I almost immediately became addicted to that video camera. In 1990, I quit my job as a sales and marketing rep for 10 years, and I became, without even a class under my belt, I became a video producer, filmmaker. And I had these 2 video cameras called the AG450 from Panasonic, and they were kind of low-end, they were like prosumer cameras, they weren't high-end professional. And I had this complex for a couple of years because I was filming with these cameras, and a lot of the other guys were filming with the good cameras, and I still had a lot of people tell me they enjoyed my work. But in 1992, I got a call from Jerry Walsh, who was Bill Walsh's wife. Anybody remember Bill Walsh, the football coach of the San Francisco 49ers? So I filmed his 60th surprise birthday party. I'm standing here, he's going to walk in the door there. Him and his wife walked by there. I could see them. Just before the door opened, I thought, OMG, I got to press the record button. But I got it, and I filmed it, and I felt like I aced it. I interviewed Bill Walsh and George Seifert and Jerry Rice and all of those guys. Man, that gave me a world of confidence to know I could ask those guys questions and they had to give me answers. A couple weeks or a couple months later, after I delivered the video to Mr. and Mrs. Walsh, and the way I delivered it back then is I got a couple of bubble envelopes and put their VHS in a box and mailed it to them. Yeah. It's changed a little bit since then. It's amazing. Well, when Bill Walsh called me a couple weeks later and said, hey Chris, thanks so much. What a fabulous memento. You did a great job. It was an entertaining video. It was funny as heck. Everybody loved you. You were a gentleman and professional and made us all laugh and blah, blah, blah. I hung up with Bill Walsh, one of the most famous people all time in NFL football, and it made me realize it's not the camera, it's the person behind the camera. And I took that and did 1,800 more professional gigs, and retired from that about 4 years ago, and I'm just doing what I've always wanted to do, producing my own films and producing my own stuff. Yeah, I learned to promote myself. Man, that Walsh job, I had pictures on my brochure and on my wall, and I milked that in marketing back before the internet. And being in the trenches of all of those gigs, man, 1,800, I filmed them. I did a lot of the work, the sales and the marketing, filming, the editing. It made me the producer and director that I am today. You know what it's time for right now? How about a huge ovation that we're back in person? I don't know about you guys, man, but I've really missed this club in person. I'm so happy to be back. I mean, this is awesome. How about a round of applause for our Perky Perko servers, who are awesome, and for getting the room ready for us. It was a mess a couple days ago. This is all this stuff. Perko's does have one very small request, and being that we want to have all our meetings here, I think we want to abide by this really small request. Perko's wants us to eat all of our vegetables today. And if the person next to you isn't eating his or her vegetables, give them a little nudge, you know. And as you can see, I'm filming this thing today. I've got a microphone right here, so this audio will be really good. Nothing I hate more than struggling to hear a film. So if you're using your I have an iPhone 12. I use that in a lot of my professional productions. It's freaking amazing. But you can't plug into audio. So if you're going to film yourself with a phone like that, be inside with the door closed, where there's no noise. If you're outside and there's airplanes going by and cars and stuff like that, the audio is going to be hard to hear. So that's filmmaking 101. And me, with a cell phone, don't put it in the back of the room there and get a full nice shot of me. No, you're not going to be able to hear it. Just put it as close as you can and talk into it. I don't see, sometimes I've had like tens of thousands of people watching me. What helped me at first to not get nervous, for me it's like the more the better now. But I just don't think of it as 5,000 people. I think of it as one audience. 10.
Do they make stands for iPhones so you can like...
Yeah, they make stands for iPhones and selfies and a lot of really cool things. I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend the GoPro is amazing. Did you have a question before, ma'am?
I couldn't remember how old your daughter was when she was prematurely born.
So, how old was Hannah when she was born? She was actually 0.
No, I mean, how many months early?
She was born 3 months early, so I was bonding with my baby 3 months before I was supposed to.
So 6 months.
Yeah, she was born at 26 weeks. And she was 1 pound 9 ounces. And yeah, now she's the most healthy 13-year-old around. And she's even taller than her mom, which is, as Hannah and I would say, which is unbelievable. So, I'm filming today, and I'm going to make probably a 1 or 2 minute short film of the best clips. And then I'm going to use this to get more California writing speaker gigs and maybe conferences, and who knows what it'll lead to. One thing I know it will lead to is when an agent sees that, oh, he's speaking at California Writers Club groups. Wow, that's impressive. And then I think meeting people, one of the things I'm looking for is the person who is going to edit Touched by Hannah. You might want to put that on mute for the meeting. Thank you. Touched by Hannah. What was I saying?
You need someone to edit.
Yes, I'm looking for somebody to edit Touched by Hannah. And what I'm hoping to do is, I've raised a good amount of money with my GoFundMe. I highly recommend GoFundMe for raising money for whatever you're raising money for. It's very user-friendly. It's easy. If I can do it, you can do it. It takes a lot of work to really, work it, but it's very user-friendly. Well, in any case, I'm hoping to trade services with the right editor. I played free country club golf in Silicon Valley for 20 years because I did trades with the golf club. It's got to be somebody that really wants to trade and really wants your services and is going to use it, and the videos is going to help them get their messages across. And then it's also got to be somebody that's excited, about myself and my project. So, now I'm working with, I have a chiropractor in Woodland right now. Very well respected in the community. Great guy. His son is at Woodland Christian School with my daughter, Hannah. They're in the same grade. He's a real gifted healer, and I've been training with him for 3 years, and my family and I get free chiropractic. Now, I put in more time in the videos that I make for him than he puts in time when I go and adjust him. So I'm not looking for that kind of an even trade.
soon.
I mean, you can't put a price tag on my health. And then the videos that I've produced for this gentleman have been seen by thousands of people, even nationwide. So it's been good promotion for me. So I'm excited about that. You guys can do the same thing. Your services are valuable. If you're a writer and you're a good writer, like if you want to, here's the trick of Film Freeway. Film Freeway is how you submit a screenplay or a film to any film festival in the world. It's very easy. It's called Film Freeway. If you have the email I sent you, it's on that. So filmfreeway.com, you put your video on it. You know what the most important thing I think was that helped me get those awards that I got? You have to write a synopsis for the film. You have to have your bio is going to be on every, the same on every video. And then you have to write a director's statement. I spent a lot of time writing the heck out of my stuff and making it really good and really shine. I read one of the little books about, the guy said, I can't tell you how many people, don't take their time and fill this out because they think they've got a great film. So, I think if it comes down to where it's my film versus somebody else's, I think, based on accomplishments and based on the writing on Film Freeway, they're going to choose me. So your writing services are very, very valuable when it comes to filmmaking. Man, I'll tell you, if I were you guys right now on social media, like with me, I'm mostly a Facebook guy, I just put all kinds of videos on my Facebook. And like if you want to promote your upcoming book or a book that's already there, you don't have to make a video about the book. Just make little videos so people watch it and get to know you a little bit. I mean, even if it's something simple like, hey, how you doing? My name is Frank, and man, I've been seeing you guys for years on this Facebook thing. This is me. This is what I look like. Okay, bye. I mean, and then it's so easy to put that on Facebook. Just try to do what's you, and like with me, it's, it's being me and being kind of goofball. The very first promotional video I ever made is I made several of them in the early 90s when I got 3 kids that are in their late 30s right now. And when they were little kids in the early 90s, I had this idea. I would create a Christmas video. Did a whole bunch of shots, made a little like 3-minute, 4-minute video of us to music. People love pets on video, FYI. People love kids. What I had to do back then, I made a really cool music video with my family. And I had a Super VHS master, and I took it to a guy who made 350 VHS copies. And then I would address 350 envelopes and put the VHS in the envelopes and mail it to those people. That's how I had to deliver my first promotional video. And when you tell that to like kids that are in their 20s and teens, they just think, like my daughter would say, Dad, were there dinosaurs back then? The amazing thing was people took them out of their, I had some little sayings and stuff to try to get what you want to do anytime you make a film. Like these days, I mean, I wanted to make it so where they wanted to put that video in the VCR and press play. And I had all little tricks on email. You should have an email list, by the way. And MailChimp. MailChimp is the way you send a mass email. MailChimp, it's very user-friendly. If I can do it, you can do it. And yesterday I had 750 emails of the same went out from my list. I tell you, my kids were video stars. Like, we were viral before the word viral existed. So it's something that's always fascinated me. And through the years, the things that I posted on Facebook were like, I was there to videotape when Natalie Corona went by Woodland Christian School. And it was such a heart-wrenching moment, and I caught it. And just, in a couple hours, it got like 3,500 views in my community, which, even in a horrible tragedy like that, my dad was a New York City cop, got me known in my area. There was a guy's, There's a guy snoring at Pete's, and I filmed him for about 20 seconds, and that was a good video. That was popular.
Chris,
Yes,
I have a question.
Bernard's got a question.
How long are your Facebook videos? Do you use Instagram Reels? 15 seconds, 30 seconds?
Okay, with the Instagram thing, it's funny. I'm not big on Instagram, but I want to get more on it. I do post on the stories there regularly, but I just learned yesterday that they don't have Instagram TV anymore, which I didn't like. Now I think you can post a video on Instagram, and I think it can be up to, I think, 10 minutes. I've got the thing right at the house. And then if you get it verified, which you can probably figure out, you can have it up to an hour or more than an hour or something like that. So, but when it comes to a Facebook, any social media video, short is better. You got to learn to be a real short storyteller. My grandpa was a short storyteller, wrote for some of the magazines in New York City in the 20s. His short stories, well, of course they were a lot longer, but in a Facebook post, two things key in the video. If you put it on Facebook instead of your YouTube link, you're going to get more views because they don't like when get off Facebook and go to YouTube. And it's always better, 15 seconds, a minute. If I make a minute or a 2-minute video and it goes on my Facebook, I'm hoping they get the message like in the first 15 seconds. First 15 seconds, you want to knock them dead and make it so they keep watching. And if you can do that and keep them watching by entertaining them, maybe making them laugh, giving them amazing information, they're going to keep watching. And when they keep watching, your messages get across. I hope that answered that question. I got to tell you another story. I've done some really weird stuff, and it's kind of like not that I only want to do this stuff. It's I kind of have to do this stuff. I made believe a few times that I was a male stripper in a restaurant, and I went up and I had a couple layers on, and I threw a layer off and took a bell off. I kind of like when people look at me and run into me and go, I'm not going to forget that guy. That's what I want to be. More on that later. There was a guy, let me give you an example. There was a guy in a film festival last year who made a film. And he's very talented, and there was a lot of good stuff in the film. But for example, it was fishing and funny and guys, and he must have got some kind of a camera where he could get video of the fishies under the boat, under the water. And he had some beautiful shots. And at first I was like, wow. But he dragged it on for like 3 minutes. And it's like, man, that's not modern storytelling. I don't know if he could have used 5 seconds in that or 10 or whatever. So that's. The best way to become with me with writing, besides learning a lot from this club, man, I've written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages in the last 7 years. It's the same with film. I've produced hundreds and those 1,000 weddings in the trenches, sweating my you-know-whats off and doing it all myself, and the pressure because, you can't mess up. There's no take two at a wedding. Now, all that stuff made me the producer and director that I am today. This one is for Gloria. Gloria. Glory. How to make your book. Oh, there she is. How to make your book into a feature film. Hey, you know what? In today's technology, it's doable. You don't need to have a Hollywood producer find you like a needle in the haystack. So I guarantee, if you give me a $500,000 or $1 million budget, I will make an Academy Award worthy film. So that's my goal. So you have to find a producer or a studio who digs your book and thinks it would make a great story. That's where we get most of our Hollywood stories from. This is from books. However, You don't just give them what you guys can do and what you girls can do is be a step ahead of the game. Don't just have the book ready. Write the screenplay. I've written a couple of very short ones, but I'll learn how to do it. I'm reading the book right now. It's in the email. It's called This is the Book to Learn to Become a Screenwriter. The Guide for Every Screenwriter by Jeffrey D. Calhoun. So yeah, remember like I said, when you've written your award-winning screenplay, you can submit it to film festivals because many of them have screenplay competitions. And if you happen to be, win an award or be a runner-up or be a finalist, man, that's great stuff. That's great stuff to have on your resume because when you talk to somebody that might be able to make you that film, you got the confidence that you know this is going to be a good film. IMBD is an important thing to know. It's an organization that most filmmakers and producers are on. IMBD. I'm sorry, I always get it wrong. IMDb. You can look for producers and filmmakers on that. By the way, if any of you watching either at home or here at Perky Perkos ever has a question about this stuff, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it, either on the phone or text or email, whatever. So you can write your screenplay, and like I said, man, they're hungry to get good stories. But with me, with Touched by Hannah, I think the screenplay is going to be a lot different than just Touched by Hannah. I might use a YOLO yo-yo thing with the girls and have Hannah do flashbacks to Touched by Hannah. I'm not really sure. I haven't started writing the screenplay yet. I'm about 6 months from finishing the book and then, having my editor. So, if you don't want to have a producer make your film, you can be the producer. You can go indie and be your own producer and just hire people to do stuff. In that case, if you wanted to do that, you could hire somebody like me as a consultant or something like that to help you with the process. What I'm doing right now is after Touched by Hannah, I'm writing the screenplay, and I'm going to submit that to Netflix. And it's very easy. All you have to do is go to the Netflix app on your phone, and there's a thing, how ideas are presented to Netflix. But basically what you have to do is you have to follow their instructions. That's all. And then you submit it. You got to write the screenplay. You've got to, it's best, you don't have to, but producing a short film, like if you're making a feature film, making a little trailer is a good thing. It doesn't have to be, highly professionally produced. It's got to be nice. Then, what I learned in my research is when Netflix sees what I have done recently and has seen that my film has won awards at Manhattan Film Festival, when they see that I'm speaking for California Writers Club and all of those things, that's going to open up the door. You know what's going to happen? Netflix is going to have people reading my script. And you know what that means? That means I got a shot. That's all I want is a shot. The thing is, I know I'm going to do it. There's no doubt. It's the weirdest thing. Oh, and you have to have this stuff submitted either by an agent or a producer. You can have me submit it for you. I'm not quite sure if the agent should have a relationship with Netflix already, and I'm not sure about the producer. Like, I'm not going to submit it on my behalf. I'm going to have an agent submit it.
Oh, so you're saying just submit it on the Netflix app, but you're saying no, an agent or a producer?
Yeah, if you do those things that I mentioned, the best thing to have is an agent who believes in you and thinks he can sell you, submit that to Netflix. Because if you have an agent that already has a relationship with Netflix, they're going to go, oh, okay, that's from, what's his name? We know this is going to be something worth looking at. And if you don't do that, if you don't submit it to an agent, and it doesn't have to be a secret agent. It can be a regular book agent. Did anybody at home laugh at that? It can also be a producer, a film producer. And I've got to look and see if it's somebody that has to have a relationship. Oh my God, it's 10:43. Oh, I'm doing good.
How do you find the agent?
How do you find an agent?
I mean, that you're saying they have a connection with Netflix.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. There's a app that I belong to, and I really have to apologize. I forget what it is, because right now I'm not looking for agents, but email me. There's this app you go to, and you have access to all of the agents. The old-fashioned way, which I still think is a great way, if you met an agent at a conference, or a talk, or a meeting or something like that, there's nothing like face-to-face. If I had an agent face-to-face that was a high-caliber agent, I think I got a better shot of getting a book deal. Anybody have any questions about the film part? Please, at any time, even if it's like a year from now, contact me if you do. Tim?
There's a couple of questions from folks at home.
Go for it.
One is, and I'm going to repeat this so the Zoomers can hear, is it better to have the book published before the film, or producers learn it out?
Is it best to have the
book published?
The book published. I think it's best to not have it published, but I don't know if it really matters. Like with me, Touched by Hannah isn't published, and I've had that success with the film. So when I'm looking forward to getting my book published, I can show agents, oh, look at me, my book has got these awards and stuff like that. And then, I'm hoping it all comes together where I find the editor, and then I find the agent, and then, we go from there. I hope that answers that question. Tim?
There's another question. Do you add text on screen for your short Facebook videos, or do you just use audio accompaniment?
I'm not as total hip to the technologies I could or should be. I think what Tim is asking, on videos, on most mediums today, you can also have it where they read the text. Because I know there's times where I'm in a situation where I can't really hear the audio, and you can read the text. I just haven't done that yet. I probably should. Definitely something to look into that I haven't. Ma'am.
Yes, you've been talking about making the videos and now this movie about your daughter, and you're writing the book. And my understanding is that you usually write the book first and then write a screenplay from that, learn how to write the screenplay, and then try to put it into a film. So you're kind of flipping it around, and I'm just wondering...
No, I'm not flipping around, because the film that I've already made is not a full feature film. It's just to promote the fact that, hey, look, Chris is writing a book.
Oh.
After I'm done writing the book, I'm going to write a screenplay for a full feature film.
Okay.
That's going to be about Touched by Hannah.
Okay.
Gloria.
Yes, I was wondering, when you mentioned creating a trailer to introduce the film that you're proposing or whatever, does that mean like you have to hire actors and so forth to act out
I
a
didn't.
scene from it? How would you go about it? Mine is a work of historical fiction. No doubt. So, what would the trailer
When you're
look
making a
like?
film, that's a good question. When you're making a film, there's three aspects of making a film. Pre-production, production where you're doing the film, and post-production is the editing and all that stuff. Pre-production, you should also be doing promotion, getting people... what was the question again?
So what would the trailer be like? Would you
Oh, the trailer.
hire actors?
So what you do in your pre-production, or even before that, you start thinking about what you want to have in the trailer. With me, I'm very unorthodox, and I don't really plan and write a script. I do a lot of things, ad-lib and improv, and I would have some thoughts, and then I go out and do a bunch of shooting, and then let's say I mean, I've had 10 hours of video footage before that I've crafted into a 1-minute film. It's a real art. And with me, when I'm starting at that process of writing, I mean, going from 10 hours of footage to a minute, I just get clips that I like, and then I tell the story like with the clips, and it's a very organic process. But my point is, you gotta just figure out what messages you want to get across in your trailer. You want them to know that you got a book coming out. Maybe it's going to be a film, and maybe a little bit of the story. Maybe you will have to have a scene with actors and actresses. So, yeah, with me, I know how to find actresses and actors. You can find actresses and actresses that want it. If they believe in you and your film, and they can use that as their reel, okay, I won't. You don't have to pay me, but if I can use that in my reel, Bernard.
Yeah, I've got a question. Following on from Gloria's, do you know of any websites that have book trailers as such, so we can see examples and stuff like that?
No. And you know what? I'm weird when it comes to that. Not weird, but I mean, I watch movies, but I'm not a big, huge movie watcher, and I'm not like, oh, let me look at that trailer. Even though when I'm looking, and whenever I'm watching a show, I always point out to Hannah, see where the sun is? It's right there, right? Because that's where you get the best light. I've told her that like 1,000 times. What's the question again, real quick?
Examples of trailers.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I just like creating my own stuff, and I don't need anybody else's trailers to give me motivation. Man, I just do that myself, and I think my stuff is very original, very me, I don't want to copy anybody. But that being said, for most people, it's probably a good idea to just go on, and these days on the internet, you probably find that real easy. Look at other movie trailers.
Or books, yeah, some people have their own book trailers to promote it.
Yeah.
That's what, book trailers.
So that's
Matter of fact, Tim pulled his book trailer here behind his car today.
It's full of books.
Full of books, right?
Okay, Tim.
You might not know the answer to this, but do you know anything about the TikTok authors site and whether people...
TikTok?
TikTok author, Apparently there's an author portion of TikTok, and people are posting videos to that.
I don't know much about TikTok,
Chinese.
but if there was ever an app for modern storytelling, it's TikTok. Holy crap. I'm on it. I should be more regular with it, and I'm just not. I don't know, maybe I've been a little lazy. But Hannah, some parents are like, I don't like TikTok. You know why I like TikTok for Hannah? Hannah has produced hundreds of films by herself. She just turned 13 on TikTok. And they have all of these shortcuts, like if you want to do a part where there's 10 pictures to music and it's ba 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 ba, you just put your 10 pictures in and it does that. And if you would have given me an apparatus with TikTok when I was first starting, I mean, even back then, 30 years ago, I would have thought it was like very, very Jetsons. So, yeah, TikTok is something that I should be looking into. I've heard there's a lot of people in a lot of different areas promoting themselves and their business and stuff on TikTok. And it's freaking fun. Jennifer.
Back to Facebook, and this is pretty rudimentary, probably.
Not Facebook again, I'm teasing.
I know, but probably everybody in the room knows the answer, but I don't. I have a personal Facebook page, and I promoted my book on it, but I hear about Facebook author pages, and what's the difference, and do I need a separate author page?
Well, yeah, I have a Facebook page that's Chris Hennessy, and I post a lot of stuff on it on me and my life and Hannah, my speaking engagement today. But I also have a Touch by Hannah Facebook page, and I also have a YOLO Yo-Yo's Facebook page. And I highly recommend it. Man, if I can do it, you guys can do it. Because I'm not one of, if I have a problem with something, I ask Hannah. You know, you ask a 13-year-old, how do I do this? Because they know everything. But when it comes to the, yeah, you should definitely have those pages. And while we're on Facebook, you know, I had a lot of people not totally believe in me when I started this YOLO Yo-Yos. We wound up, first of all, our 2019 Best Episode, Channel 17 and 18, Best New Series 2019. But I had people, including family, like, what are you doing, YOLO YOLO? You know, it's stupid. What are you doing? That ain't gonna work. That's stupid. Man, I'll tell you what, you never let anybody detract you from your dreams. With me, all that stuff did was fuel a fire. So when my first YOLO Yo-Yos Facebook video got like 5,500 views, I took a screenshot and I said, yeah, you know, it's really silly, isn't it? And guess what they said in return? Nothing. The way I got popular on Facebook is you find Facebook groups. YOLO Yo-Yos was about Hannah and her friends' fun and uplifting adventures through YOLO County. So I wanted to become popular in YOLO County. So I found these Facebook groups, the Woodland Facebook group, the YOLO County Facebook group, and a lot of these Facebook groups, they get a lot of traction. They get people every day, oh, there's a dog running in the street on J Street. Anybody know who dog it is? I started posting about YOLO Yo-Yos, and I got a really big following. So the main thing when it comes to that post with your video was something like that. Really good text, short as you can, and a really good short video. And get them to like you, get them to know you, and I was amazed. I mean, I had a video during the pandemic on Facebook that got like 25,000 views on Facebook. And then there's YouTube. When YouTube first came out, I just randomly put some of my films on YouTube, and they got millions of views. So between what I just talked about and TikTok, these days, man, you can get your name out there without spending a dime. I'm going to do some Facebook stuff now for the club. I posted on Sacramento Writers Club Facebook. And listen, if any of you are on Facebook, you know what? Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Do your club, your profession, whatever, a favor, and go to our Facebook once in a while. Just press like. and you know, be a little bit active, like once a week. Just by fooling around with some Sacramento groups and my groups, the Facebook post that I posted on our club Facebook has got, as of this morning, it's like 4,000 people looked at it. And when I posted something, I don't know, a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago, and didn't do my interactive thing, it got like 35, 40, 50. So, man, it's, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions on that over there. We're getting to the really good part right now. Gloria.
So when you post something, a video, what's the best way to make sure that it gets noticed?
In the whole process of making the video, you got to be thinking to yourself, first of all, why are they going to press the play button and watch this? Sometimes on social media it's automatic, it starts playing automatic. You got to keep their attention as long as you can by being an amazing storyteller. And you also have to write really like outstanding text. You can't just write, yeah, Chris Hennessy speaking, you know, about film, come watch him. You got to have some, like a headline that sizzles, that people, you know, are going to want to look at. So, when it comes to creating, I don't care what anybody, if you can get to the point where you don't care what anybody says, you don't care what anybody thinks, you can let yourself be free of distractions. I get myself, I can do this, like, whenever I sit down on my computer, it's almost like a hypnotic state. And there's nothing else that matters. And if I'm writing, I'm in that, like, hypnotic zone of euphoria, which it is euphoria, it's amazing how fast time goes. And there's no distraction, Problems don't exist. There's no cancer. I'm living in the moment. I've learned to do that. When I used to take Hannah for walks after she got out of the NICU, I learned back then is where I really truly learned to live in the moment. So you can do stuff like that. You can, definitely you can write better. And let me move on here. I had the cancer. We found out it was in the lungs in like 2020, and in April of 2021, I've been having issues with deep vein thrombosis, blood clots for years. So I was on a blood thinner, but all of a sudden I had an episode and I wound up having pulmonary embolism, which is the blood clots in the lungs. And that wasn't a good thing, so I had to start taking Lovenox shots. And because that's the strongest blood thinner on the planet. Then fast forward to November of 2021, had a bad episode. I wound up in the emergency room. In any case, this 3-month episode is, I wrote a memoir about it. It's called This Is What I Just Went Through. That was just that episode in the emergency room just a couple days before Thanksgiving. 8 hours in the ER. I had several nurses and several doctors tell me, oh, you're on Lovenox? I don't have to worry about it. The chances are really small that the pulmonary embolism came back. I still was hopeful the barking cough was bronchitis. After like another hour of my wife and I just sitting there, you know how it is in an ER room. The door finally opened after another hour waiting. The doctor rushed in with his head down and game-faced on, and he looked pissed, because he was pissed, and he was upset, because he told me, nah, this is a small chance. He said, the scan confirmed this is new pulmonary embolism. And of course my heart really dropped, because that was certainly a life-threatening situation. First night in bed with likely life-ending ailments. My mind morphed through thoughts of my 86-year-old mom who broke her hip several months ago. I'm not able to fly with blood clots in my lungs, so I can't even go visit my mommy in New York. With blood clots in the lungs, I likely won't be able to fly again. The train would be too much sitting. I'll probably never again see my mom face to face in person. Agonizing thoughts so hurtful. Another life-threatening battle to deal with. Oy, it's all I needed, right? Jesus. Nightly nightmares, cough, cancer, neuropathy, DVT blood clots, crummy drugs, low energy. No mom. Tormenting visions of not being there for my gorgeous wife Betsy and our 12-year-old Hannah. Way more painful than the bullet in the belly like radical prostatectomy cancer surgery at Stanford that started us on this never-ending odyssey in the summer of '09. A couple days after diagnosing the pulmonary embolism, I said to the doctor, I said, being that I had these in the lungs, is there a chance that they were elsewhere? Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do a scan. So I learned in my journey in healthcare, not only do you have to be your own general contractor, but you collaborate with the doctors. And this guy, he can't think of everything. He's got other patients, So did I get mad at him? No, we worked on it together. He's just a very caring man. A couple days later, they conducted tests checking for blood clots elsewhere. The young, pretty ultrasound technician laughed at my shtick. I wish I had it on video. It was actually hilarious. I simultaneously hoped she didn't find anything. I half asked and half said, "You didn't find anything, right?" She hesitated for like 2 split seconds. Multiple DVT blood clots in right calf. Fuck, I firmly said. And you know what? I've said that word hundreds of times, but I never meant it like I did that time. I was thinking, Jesus, they're everywhere. I was livid, numb, not believing this. When she said, listen, I need to get a hold of Dr. Patel, my first thought was, I'm out of here. I knew they wanted to admit me. As I was putting my shirt back on, I said, hey, you were great. I really enjoyed this, but I'm going to be leaving now. Tell Dr. Patel we'll talk on the phone. As soon as I got outside, I removed my mask, and I was in the fresh, foggy, cold, late November Sacramento mid-morning air. I sucked in a huge breath. It really felt good. I let it out and I got the hell out of there. This weird thing came over to me the next day. I felt the need to create something. And I mustered up the energy to spend a day preparing for it and filming what I assumed was my last video. My last video. A music video, Nirvana's All Apologies. It was a cover that I sang the Kurt Cobain part. Hannah did some singing it and Hannah played the bass. When I saw the responses on Facebook to the film, like, I think at that moment a bunch of really good drugs were dispersed throughout my whole system, and it made me feel good. So creating is that powerful, and doing what you, in that moment where I'm thinking this is my last film, I poured my heart into that, and when people loved it, it made me feel good. I thought to myself, I'm going to make it through this. I know it. And I thought of different things to uplift myself, and I thought, oh my God, Hannah is a mess. She thinks her daddy is dying. I can't imagine that. Betsy with her husband, I thought I need to uplift him, and I need to uplift him now. Pity party over, gotta uplift my girls now. And I did become in a possessed, focused, Chris Hennessy, uplifting mood. I strutted into the living room with a body language that reeked of, we're going to kick this thing's ass. I presented a short, impromptu, motivational speech to my girls. We're not going to worry. Concerned is cool, but we're not going to waste time and energy being afraid of this. Right now I feel fine. That's what matters. This moment. This is another challenge we're going to win. My family has had several life on the line challenges. I mean, look at Hannah. Hannah had a 40% chance of living when she was born. And the chances of having a healthy life were a lot less than that. And man, she beat the odds. She's like the most athletic looking kid and the best girl. All of these hardships have made us strong, confident folks. We are going to live life as usual, and we're going to have an awesome holiday. Are you guys with me? And they shook their head. I said, I'm so proud of us. And we had a freaking great holiday. Betsy isn't a big complimenter, my wife. She came in later on with that Hannah. Thank you so much. She said, you don't realize what that meant to Hannah. I was and I will always be proud of that achievement. For some reason, during these most difficult times of my life, I think it's God that's pushing me. Maybe you might think it's the universe that's pushing me to achieve my potential. And if you guys can just, take it one day at a time and believe in yourself and learn how to motivate yourself to create, and come to meetings like this and network and become a better writer. I'm just hoping that I know that I'm able to create magic for as long as I'm here. I would like to have like 5 more years to accomplish everything. Yeah. Right now, at the end of our thing, I'm going to give you a couple of things that you really should do either now or when the meeting's over or at home or whenever you do things ASP. Because the chances are that you'll continue to do it. You should write down 2 achievements that you're proud of. Write down 2 achievements you're proud of, 2 ways that you're going to motivate yourself. You could think of a couple of things that you've accomplished that you're proud of. And think about what did I do to get there? You know, what did I have to persevere, blood, sweat, and tears? Man, think about that. Live. I do that, and it just gets me pumped up to know I can create more. Think about 2 short films you want to make. At any time, if you think of a short film, say, hey, Chris, what do you think? Text me or email me. What do you think about this? I'll just give you a little consultation. It'd be silly if you didn't do it. So, I want you guys to eat your vegetables, and I want you to remember this. Instead of sitting around worrying, oh, by the way, I wanted to say hi to Heather Hennessy, if she's watching, my beautiful daughter, and Hannah Hennessy, my other beautiful daughter. If you guys are watching, I love you. I want you to remember that instead of sitting around at this time in my life worrying, I'm out achieving my potential. Guess what I'm doing this afternoon? For me, raise your hand if you think this was fun for me. This was very medicinal for Chris Hennessy. This is going to keep me pumped up for like weeks. It's a freaking great gift. This afternoon, Hannah's at a sleepover. She can't come. Mommy's going out of town to see our maid of honor, Lee. I'm on my own. I have a film that's going to show on the big screen at 2 o'clock in the newly renovated Sutter Theater in Yuba City. I can just sit there and watch a bunch of films and watch my film on the big screen and watch Hannah sing with the chance of winning and not have a care in the world. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch some football tonight. Any questions?
Is this open for everybody, or is this a private viewing?
What's that?
Your movie,
What movie?
the one you're going to see.
Oh, tonight? No, it hasn't. Yes, it was an episode of Touched by Hannah that was about 20 minutes long, and I edited it down to 11 minutes, 12 minutes for the film fest. It's called Open Mic. If you go to the Yolo Yo-Yo's YouTube channel, and just here's one of the episodes in Yolo Yo-Yo's was kids at a candy store. I took the 3 girls when they were about 10 to a candy store, just randomly filmed. Wow, what memories, man!
Just to add, there's a link on Chris's email to the Sutter Theater in Yuba City,
So
and it's $10 a ticket.
I have an extra ticket if anybody wants to go. You should become a speaker. And if you're scared to be a speaker, just write some stuff. I think on the front door it says that Toastmasters meets here. Toastmasters is a great place. Like, I should have went there and read this. This is the first time giving this speech. I'm going to give it a lot. But you can go to Toastmasters in front of people and they critique you. It's very reasonable. I did it for a few years. Highly recommend it. Definitely helped me become a better speaker. If you're fearful of speaking, get up there a few times. You'll lose the fear. I highly recommend this book, even if you don't want to be a speaker, but you should. The Message of You. It's in the email. Judy Carter, The Message of You. What she helped me do is I took all my words that I wrote. She helps you craft it into something that's really special and cool in storytelling. She was a big comic in the 80s in America. Then she wrote a book called The Comedy Bible that was very popular. I highly recommend that. Other books are corporate and boring, and she teaches you, she gives you a formula how to write comedy, and you can't just read the book, you kind of have to study it. Highly recommend. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a good day.